Hey everyone, in today's episode, we are going to be listening to Level 5 again. As you all know by now, we absolutely love and adore Level 5. Each of their songs,
Yeah.
whether it be Obo Shoshe, Khoya Jaya Chad,
60s
and
love.
60s Love, of course,
Mm.
right? We have always shown, we all know that how much we adore their music. And today we are listening to GHOLATE MEGH together.
Mm-hmm.
Hamad picked it for today,
Mm.
and I would want to know why he picked it. But we talk about it after we have listened to it together.
Yep. Let's
All
get
right.
started.
Three, two, one, play.
ঘোলাটে মেঘ কাচের গ্লাস শীতের সকাল শালিকের ডাক মুখে হাসি চোখে জল রাতের গান কে শোনাবে বল সারাটা দেশে আধারে রং আমি যে দেখি রঙিন শ্রাবণ সারাটা দেশে আধারে রং আমি যে দেখি রঙিন শ্রাবণ তোমার ছবি একটু হাসে চায়ের কাপে আমার সকালটা ভাসে তোমার ছবি একটু হাসে
I absolutely love his vocals.
চায়ের কাপে
Killer vocals.
They both get giddy.
সকালটা ভাসে বৃষ্টি নামলে পাতা ভেজা সূর্য উঠলে সবই ফাঁকা বৃষ্টি নামলে পাতা ভেজা সূর্য উঠলে সবই ফাঁকা তোমার আমার ছোট্ট গল্প কবিতাতে একটু অল্প তোমার আমার ছোট্ট গল্প কবিতাতে একটু অল্প
Man, his vocals are so soothing.
সারা দেশে আধারের রং আমি যে দেখি রঙিন শ্রাবণ বৃষ্টি নামলে পাতা ভেজা সূর্য উঠলে সবই ফাঁকা
This part.
I just just love this part. How beautiful this part is. How beautiful.
Man, this album is just something else. It's one of a kind. This whole album, this every single song is, I mean, there are very few albums, very few albums in which all of the songs are this good.
One of a kind. Each track is one
One
of
of
a
a, I mean, we have heard so many albums, right? From so many artists that we love,
Yep.
absolutely love and adore, and we rarely come across an album that has all the songs that resonate with you,
Yes.
right? It's a function of age as well. It's a
Mm.
function of age. It's function of financial stability.
Mm-hmm.
It's function of, right, weather.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
it's
You
function of,
always tell me that I enjoy songs during the rain whenever I send you a text
no, no,
message.
no, but no, but there's a difference. So if you remember that when you hadn't moved to Germany,
Mm. Mm.
I kept telling you the weather has a huge impact on your life, right? So back home, back in Karachi, you are just, burning in
Mm.
heat.
Mm.
You are decaying in
Yeah.
heat. And here, even in summers, it's like 20 degrees, very cool, very nice. In the evening, it's like 12 degrees, 13 degrees, very, very cool and calm, very nice. And I kept telling you, you know what? It has such a huge impact on your mood. And then I remember, I remember that when you moved, you were like, man, this weather makes such a difference.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that. Absolutely. So this particular track, although I'm not a smoker, but it makes me crave for a cigarette. So if a song can does that to you, it means that it is something. And yeah, we already mentioned about the vocals here. So the song is pretty simple. It's an acoustic, nearly acoustic song with very minimalistic arrangement, but the vocals of this song are so beautiful. Adid Rashid, I think, just nailed it. We love his vocals, but in this particular track, this is one
This
of
particular track, he is just, he has taken simplicity and made such a beautiful track out of it.
yep.
I mean, look at the track is so simple. It's so simple to play on the guitar as well.
Yes, yes,
In the acoustic section. But he has just upped his vocals few notches
yep.
and poured in. He literally poured in so much in emotions. I mean,
Emotions.
when we come to the lyrics and the narrative of it, this is where we talk about it more. But man, eh, genius.
Genius.
Honestly,
Genius. Absolutely
I,
genius.
he does it intentionally, unintentionally. I mean, from our chat with him, right? He
Yes.
does do it intentionally, but the way it came out. I was reading a book. All
Hmm.
right, I'm going on a tangent, but it has to be said. It has to be said. I was reading a book, which is called, as far as I remember, "The Name of the Wind."
Hmm.
It's a fiction fantasy,
Okay.
you know, but it's about a young singer
Hmm. Hmm.
whose whole life's passion is music.
Hmm.
And he says a very interesting thing if I'm not mixing it up with another character. But he says that the musician's curse is that whatever they are singing or playing, it doesn't sound the same in your own ears
Oh,
as it sounds in your
yes.
audiences.
How true
And
is
this is
that?
a musician's curse. I'm not sure if it's true or not, right? But the way this sounds in our ears, I'm not sure if it sounds same in
I
Aidil's
did, yeah.
ears or right or Guppo's or his ears or
Yeah.
or
Ah,
Ashek's. We would
absolutely. But yeah, I want to mention here that to our viewers, just the part after 4 minute mark is something that I just close my eye upon. Whenever I'm commuting for work, it's a long distance, and this song is always on my playlist during the commute. And at that part, at 4 minute mark, I don't care wherever I'm sitting. I just go in trance. The way he has just sung it, I think there's some backing vocals adding to the magic as well. But overall, the impact is so brilliant. I cannot really put it in
if
words.
it hasn't caused a missed station,
It was
then it
almost.
then it hasn't fulfilled its destiny.
I already told you it makes me crave for a cigarette. So, what else can I say about this track, right?
All right, I have to put a disclaimer in this video that okay, okay. So you wanna talk about the narrative of what's being sung here?
Um, Before talking about the narrative, I actually want to thank Ehsan as well because I reached out to him and it's so kind and he's so humble to share the actual story. He mentioned as well that I did is the lyricist of this particular track because most of the tracks are written by him for the first album, but this track was written by I did, and he basically is. I'm really grateful to him that he shared the backstory around it. He shared the narrative with us as well. So thank you so much, Essen, once again. But yeah, I mean, you know the narrative here, and it's complementing because the way ID has sung it, it's completely complementing to the story that they're trying to tell. I mean, it tells a story of a guy, right, who is looking at things very differently from how they're happening around him, right?
By the way, before you go on, I wanted to say that I had a completely different narrative of the song in my head,
Hmm.
reading the
Reading the
lyrics and all.
lyrics, true.
But you go on it, then we see where we
Yeah.
get to.
So when I looked at the lyrics first, my first reaction to it was that I thought that it's a love song who the guy is singing for her counterpart and trying to emote how he feels about her. He's talking about, even in one of the verses, he mentioned that I can roughly translate, I can see your picture, I can see your image, I can see your silhouette, and even when I'm just taking a sip of tea, right? So he's just trying to emote how he feels towards her. When I first heard, just looked up the lyrics in the translation. But the narrative mentions that it's a story of a guy who thinks positive sides of things, right? Even if things seem dark, bleak around him, everything is in turmoil, even then he sees a ray of hope. And I think this song was, if I'm not mistaken, it was composed back in 2018. I initially thought that was composed during the COVID time, but this particular track has a story of a guy who has a positive outlook toward the thing, and that's that. There's the chorus, if I'm remembering it correctly. Um, how does it? If I sing it in Bangla? Mm, I'm just forgetting it. But anyways, yeah, সারাটা দেশে আধারের রং আমি যে দেখি রঙিন শ্রাবণ. So this is something that The chorus encapsulates that emotion that everyone around me, the whole country, is looking at the dark gray clouds, whereas I'm looking at the colorful side of it. I'm seeing colors rather than those gray clouds or rainy weather. I see positivity around me. So that was the main central idea as Ehsan shared with us. Otherwise, I would have taken it entirely different. So, what's your take on that?
Actually, my take was a similar one as you thought. I thought that this is about romantic love,
Hmm.
and when someone is in the honeymoon phase
Hmm. Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
romantic love,
Hmm.
this is where this is where everything is rosy,
Yes.
everything is nice. So even if everything is falling apart around you in your country, there is political turmoil or whatever, your team is losing in World Cup, you don't care. You don't care. You don't mind anything. In that honeymoon phase, everything is lovely, everything is rosy. You are finding beauty in everything, you know. And this is, in my opinion, I mean, when I read the lyrics, when I heard the song, and then I wanted to connect, overlap, and then taking into account the way Aidid has sung it,
Hmm.
I absolutely thought that this was it.
Hmm.
That yeah, because I'm thinking of you, because you have surrounded me in
Hmm.
my mind and heart. Everywhere I see is hope, light, happiness, giddiness. So yeah, it says the even when I'm sipping tea, I see you
Yes.
in the but yeah, again, the translated version gets there's a lot gets lost in translation.
Yep.
We try to make do with what we have, and this is what I thought, and it was very fitting. So this is how I interpreted it, and this is still how I interpret it now, even though you got the actual backstory.
Hmm.
I would still stick to how I perceived it, because this gives
Yes. I,
me
I think it makes sense.
right, this resonates with me more.
Yep. Yep.
Whenever Aidit goes into his long vowels,
Oh,
whenever he does that, and okay, his voice and his style of singing is, although we know that he has a classical singing background,
background.
right?
Yeah.
He has some training,
Training.
but his singing, especially in this video, in this song, is very different. It's
Yes.
very right,
Yes.
right. I keep thinking that does it. What does it remind me of? Is it more of a Western touch or what?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
reminds me of? So when I heard this particular track, I always thought that it, again, it's not a comparison. I always thought that Aidid has a lot of inspiration from Maroon 5 band, which is one of my favorite bands as well. The way Adam Levine sings, I always thought that Aidid also has similar capabilities or similar kind of vocal tone that he sings with. And just a trivia, I went digging into level 5 just recently before this video, and what
You
I
were
found,
stalking.
sorry?
You were stalking.
I was stalking. Yes, that's true. I was stalking level 5. So what I found was that there's an old channel of Esan, and they actually did a live performance of She Will Be Loved from Maroon 5 back in 2013. Back in
All
2013, there
right.
was inter-university unplugged session, and it was a very first lineup of level 5, and they performed that particular track, and it instantly hit me that okay, that's, I personally think, I may be completely wrong, but I think he takes some inspiration from Maroon 5 as well when he's singing. His voice is so much beautiful, and he tries to elongate things a similar way, and many people don't know But their first track was not part of their first album. It was called Shopnamoy, and I think it is not that popular as well on YouTube. But I just stalked them and found out today that there's one more track from their initial lineup. So that's why I think you get the Western feel in his voice in this particular track, especially.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but if Aidit is listening, do let us know.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. But anyways, it is a fun song. It is one of my personal favorites.
Lovely experience.
Lovely
Lovely experience,
experience.
isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said, I personally keep it always during my commute. It calms me, it heals me in some ways. So thank you so much for experiencing this track with us, and let us know your thoughts around this particular track as well. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.